Are you looking to buy a car but not so keen on the price tag? Well, our next guest has a deep dive on ways to make your next ride both affordable and made to last. Let's dive in with Paul Fix from Coach Car Reports. Thanks so much for joining us this morning, Paul. What are the most important factors you would say for used car shoppers?
Thanks for having me this morning. There's a lot of factors going on right now, including huge price hikes. So about 3 years ago, you could get a car that was fairly affordable, under $20,000. And there's inflation plus a lack of production during the pandemic that has really increased prices. And so a lot of the tools that we were able to use, a lot of the advice that we were able to give a couple of years ago is no longer useful for a lot of car buyers, not only for used cars, but for new cars as well, because finding a vehicle under $20,000, which most people would agree is fairly affordable, is something completely of the past. It's not something that most people would even consider these days for finding a good, reliable daily driver.
So let's look at some specific categories here. SUVs, what's your recommendation for folks looking to buy secondhand?
Yeah, absolutely. So SUVs have gone up in price a good solid amount. I've got a bunch of statistics in front of me here to work with. Back in 2019, about half of the market was in the affordable range, and now that's down to about 10%. If you're looking for a used SUV, Honda's CR-V, Toyota's RAV4, Subaru's Forester, a lot of Japanese vehicles in here. They seem to still be in the affordable price range for a lot of people. And when I say affordable, at this point, I'm really talking under $30,000. But the thing is that when you're looking at vehicles like this that are used, because of the price hikes from the lack of production during the pandemic, from inflation, from the rise in car prices, from the lack of supply, the lack of new cars, people moving over to used cars to try to find a vehicle for them to drive, people have found that these used vehicles are really where they want to buy their spend their money. So these cars have gone up over $20,000. And really, if you want to find something that's more reliably within that price range, because there's a lot of fluctuation in the market, you're going to want to look for something that's maybe slightly more used, maybe more miles, maybe a little bit more beat up or less options. Your selection of vehicles, especially in the SUV category, which is the hottest market in the United States, that becomes a little bit more limited when you're looking at a lower priced option.
And pickup trucks are also among some of the most popular vehicle types. Trucks, less so, but they're also fairly durable with a long average lifespan. So let's look at those two categories. What are the most kind of reliable pickup trucks and trucks that you might recommend for secondhand?
Yeah, the Chevrolet Silverado 1500, the GMC Sierra 1500, the Ford F-150, these are the icons of American manufacturing. These are the cars that everybody knows on the road. There's also smaller variations of each of these vehicles, the Colorado, the Ranger, and now the Maverick. But there's also some other companies that make these smaller trucks. When you're looking at these price ranges, it becomes very difficult. Trucks are in high demand, and everybody wants the usability of having a truck bed, especially the flexibility of having essentially a SUV plus a truck bed if you're looking at some of the more extended cab options. The reliability ratings have fluctuated a lot over the years. And if you're looking for an older truck, the reliability can go up. It can also go down. So doing your due diligence on these older vehicles is incredibly important, especially because repair costs have gone up so much with the addition of more and more computers and sensors that are changing the way that these vehicles drive and how they operate from a engineering perspective. That affects, how you drive it, what issues could come up, and how much you could spend on getting them repaired. Bigger vehicle, bigger parts, more expensive pieces, especially with all-wheel drive, and again, more options means more cost. So definitely keep that in mind when you're looking at trucks, and try to do your due diligence and test drive something if you haven't been in it before.
Any final tips in terms of the best methods to do that research?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been using a website called IC Cars, ISEE Cars.com, and they have incredible detail when it comes to in-depth research trying to figure out reliability of vehicles. I also recommend, there's nothing better than going and watching a review to get an idea of what a car is all about, and then going to a dealership and test driving. When you go to the dealership, the salesperson is going to try to sell you. That always happens. But what you should do is tell them, I'm just here to look. Tell them exactly what you're looking for. Do not tell them how much you are willing to spend, either per month or total, nothing. Yeah. Just tell them that you are there to test drive and that you're interested. And hopefully the salesperson will get you into a vehicle that you're interested in driving, and you can get a real feel for what the kind of vehicle this actually is going to be, new or used. You should know exactly what you're getting into because you're spending a lot of money. For most people, this is the most expensive thing someone will buy aside from a house. So you better be smart with how you do your research and do your due diligence.
Either way, get your hands on the wheel. Thank you so much for your advice this morning, Paul Fix.
Of course. Have a good morning.